into another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Randy Hargrove. How you doing,
Very well. Sitting on top of the AFC North for another week while all these peasants, i.e., Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Baltimore, look up at the boss.
The only thing that can make today better for me is not to keep seeing my Yankees get their asses whipped. Oh my God, by the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I am so sick of that. Being outscored 23-7 in 2 games makes me feel like I'm watching the freaking Giants versus I don't even know what professional Toronto team is in football. The Argonauts, we'll say that.
Man, it's crazy. So this, man, we could go so many different places in this, but this week makes me question what the hell do I really know about football? Because I've seen so much stuff happening. I will get to your Steelers in a second. I will go ahead and just go into these local Carolina Panthers because I don't know who the hell these people are. All I know is that there must be something that they done buried at Bank of America Stadium because when they're there, they seem to do very well. Now, not so much when they go on the road, but Rand, do you know that? Let me see who it is. I had the list: Commanders, the Cowboys, the Lions, the Packers, the Panthers. Let me see who else it was. The Broncos and the Colts and the Jaguars are the only teams that have not lost at home.
I got a stat that's even crazier than that. The 12th ranked defense in the whole entire NFL is the Carolina Panthers. What?
Yes.
Like, seriously, what?
Right. I look at that, and then I'm looking at, man, it's just crazy. It's just, and then you see yesterday's game, and I'm sitting there going, damn, I brought up, I forgot who it was when I was talking about, can you get fired on your day off or because you out hurt last week or the week before? And as much as I love Chuba Hubbard, and I still love Chuba, don't get me wrong, I'm watching Rico Dowdle lose his damn mind yesterday and going, is this going to be a running back controversy? Or is it just one of those things where, it was Rico's number being called that day and they rode it the way that they needed to ride it. But when Chuba is healthy and ready to go, that, he'll still be the primary back and then Rico will be the secondary back.
Yeah, I hope they have stumbled onto another Stu and D'Angelo finding from years ago. I really hope so. And just take it out of the hands of Bryce Young. But I'm really torn, man. I mean, I'm really torn because I want Bryce out of here. I do. I don't want this dude as my quarterback in Carolina. But then at the same time, I kind of want the Panthers to win games. So I'm torn between that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I do want them to win, but I want Bryce to do bad.
Oh, no, absolutely. Well, you know what? I'll be honest. He's going to do that regardless because he still consistently does things that just make you scratch your head. And one of those things is that he, for whatever reason, has not learned that he needs to be able to protect the football. Every time he gets sacked, there's a chance he's going to fumble the ball.
He wasn't even getting sacked when he fumbled the first time. Did you see that?
Right. Yeah.
He literally got scared.
Right.
He fumbled because he was scared.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, but contact will make him do it. Non-contact will make him do it. As a quarterback, I mean, you talk about running backs. I mean, I think about how last Thursday's game went when Kyron Williams cost the Rams that damn game 1 yard out from the goal line and fumbles the damn ball.
Yeah.
That cost them the game. It wouldn't have been no overtime. Uh,
Right.
but you talk about running backs, ball security and stuff like that. I mean, the damn quarterback touches the ball every snap, unless you're running a
Yes.
wildcat. They
Yes.
got to
It's such a
protect the
gamble.
ball. Throw the ball out of harm's way. Don't throw into triple coverage. Uh, don't sit there and keep backing up 12, 14 yards trying to escape the sack. Throw the ball away. Those kind of things. Bryce will just fumble. He got fumbleitis. And with all of these techniques like the peanut punch and things like that, he's got to be more cognizant about that. I know this has to be something that they're stressing to him. Bryce, every time you do that, that causes a sudden change.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
can't have that, man, because they had to really pull together and overcome just to come back. Because I thought they were dead in the water for the longest. I was like, oh, this game is over. Miami about to pull away in this game, and
That's
it
what I'm
just
saying.
happened.
His first fumble led directly to a score, and
Hmm.
then his interception, his overthrow, led directly to another score. So he's such a gamble. Giving the ball to him is like literally giving points to the other team.
It
And
is.
then people will defend him because yes, he comes back and he has a decent game. I think he threw for 198 yards, and maybe 2 touchdowns and a pick. I think it was his final line or something like that.
Yeah,
But he
one
just gives
one
people
one
hope.
98, 2-1. Yep, 19 for
Yeah,
30.
yeah. So he just gives people enough hope to like hope for another week. Uh, but to me, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough, especially when you're drafting him number one overall.
Exactly. And I will say this. I agree with you. I would love to see the Panthers embrace 21 personnel, where you've got two running backs. Start out in 21, but a lot of times you can do a lot of things in 21. 21 to me is good for them. And for those out there, 21 basically just means that you've got two running backs and a tight end, instead of a 12 where you've got one running back and two tight ends normally lined up, split. Sometimes you can run them on the same side. I don't know why you would, but you can run them split. But with the 21, you can do a lot of things out of it. You can run a pistol. You can sit there and have one almost serve as a de facto fullback. You can put one in motion so that they start in 21, but then they end up lining alongside of a receiver. Um, there's a whole lot of things that you can do, Rand. But I like the fact, again, when you start out in 21, a lot of times that helps a quarterback like a Bryce Young then be able to establish play action, then be able to get the ball down the field to like your receivers and things like that. When you have dual threats to run, they know the quarterback ain't gonna run or be a serious run threat. But if you have Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard out there at the same time, and now you have to be able to account for them. And even if it is going to be a pass play because now you're running play action, now you have two blockers in the backfield. Hopefully that can buy him time. Hopefully he realizes that if they're setting the edge where the defensive ends are more prone to come from behind you and strip the ball from you, if they can get those chip blocks, that buys you time to step up in the pocket, either A, be able to see your receivers, or B, now you have two options to dump the ball off for a quick out. And hopefully they can turn upfield, make the first person miss, and get some real positive yards. There's a whole lot of things that you can do with 21.
I mean, I don't hate the idea because I mean the receivers are not being used anyway. I mean,
No,
outside of Tech McMillan, I mean it's a dead issue. I mean, there's nobody else out there he's getting the ball to on a consistent basis this downfield. It's just not happening. It's a bunch of dump offs using the tight ends. So I don't hate it because both Rico Datto and Chuba Hubbard are good with catching the ball out of the
exactly.
backfield.
Exactly.
And they're also both good with pass protection. So I
Right.
don't hate that idea at all.
I like
You
him
got to
being
switch it up and do something.
Yeah, I like
Um,
him being able to pick up the rush, at least to buy him a little bit more time. And then if he can't see the receivers that still down the field, at least he should have a better line of sight to find one of his receivers to be able to, get the ball dumped off. So maybe it's like a 2-3 yard pass that turns into a 8, 9, 10 yard game because they're able to turn up the field. Hopefully the defense has overcommitted to stopping the run. and they come up too quick, and they basically get out on the seams, and they got a lot of green grass in front of them. So that's why I was thinking maybe for somebody his size, working him in that 21 a lot of times will then be able to help him for some of those explosive plays at some point. If not, you've got two, like you said, good running backs that can catch the ball out the backfield, and they're very physical. Man, Dowdle was like, he wasn't going to be denied. I mean, dude was getting hit 2 yards in and still dragging Muggs another 4, 5, 6 yards. I mean, he
Yeah,
was
he was running angry. He was running
yes,
angry. Yeah.
yes, yes. I mean, and on a day where the Panthers actually ran for 239 total yards.
Well, they did what they needed to do. I mean, Miami's defense is bad against the run, period. So the best way to exploit that is to run the freaking football. And I'm glad they didn't get away from that when they got down 17-0 and
Mhm.
start trying to pass to get back in the game, because we
That's right.
all know what's going to happen with that one. So yeah, props to Canales for sticking to the run and running themselves back into that game. You know, I was talking to somebody about Bryce earlier today, a Bryce defendant who was talking about all of these quote unquote dimes that he was dropping. To me, I'm seeing just average NFL passes, but I
Right.
guess coming from Bryce compared to what we have been seeing, yeah, they are dimes.
That's a low bar, you know.
Yeah, that is a very low bar.
You play with the Bulls go there. You know, I mean, it's, I mean,
Yeah.
you're like, hey, I know he weighs 300 pounds, but did you see him clear 2 inches off the ground? Man.
Yeah. But
Like,
to me, man, it's like I gave the guy I was talking to the perfect quote. We will never be the reason. I mean, Bryce will never be the reason why the Panthers succeed. But
yeah, they'll win
we
in
can
spite.
succeed in spite of him.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's
that's,
what will
that's that's what I
happen.
was telling Brad yesterday, because Brad sent me that picture in his grandma outfit. Don't be talking about my
Oh man, that was so funny. I forgot about that dude.
and I told him, I said, look, they didn't win because of him. They just didn't lose because of him.
That's
And
exactly right.
and sometimes you can overcome your quarterback. I mean, I always point to the Baltimore Ravens. They didn't win because of Trent Dilfer. They just
Hell
didn't
no.
lose because of him. Trent didn't
Exactly.
sit there and make that defense what it was. You know, they just had such a great defense that it didn't matter who the quarterback was, as long as they weren't sitting out there just throwing the ball away.
Yeah, as long as you're
Yeah,
not turning the
you said
ball
my
over and
friend
playing
yesterday.
efficiently.
He gave the defense a chance to go out there. A lot of times they would give them great field position, or they would even score points um, off of turnovers and things like that. So when you've got a dominant defense like that, your offense doesn't always have to be extraordinary. They just have to be good enough.
Yeah,
And
Brad Johnson when Tampa Bay
perfect example.
Bucks run their first Super Bowl. Yeah.
Bingo, bingo. So you can be good enough where you don't put your defense in crazy positions. That's what Bryce can do. And that's why I said if he can just run a simple offense where, yes, he's going to give you 179 to 199 yards a game, um, at least a touchdown pass or two, not turn the ball over, but use those running backs, use your running game. Brand, they won the time of possession in this game. I can't tell you how many times they win the time of possession. Another thing that they actually won was the penalty battle. They didn't have as many penalties for yards. They won fourth down. They were 2 for 2 on fourth down. The third down efficiency, 5 of 11, was pretty good. You're almost at 50% when it comes to third down conversion. You want to be able to convert third downs, or you want to be able to get first down off of first or second down, so you don't get into as many third downs. When you're doing stuff like that, and then you start to play a field position game, now you're forcing the other team to have to take more chances because they don't know how many more opportunities with the ball they're going to have. Now they're going to start putting that ball in harm's way and really give your defense a chance to get the ball back for you.
Yep, another crazy stat. Carolina is a top 10 pass defense defense. How about that? How about that?
Man, yeah, all of this is in the bizarro world. I'm gonna chalk it up to we ain't on Earth 1 anymore. We're on like Earth 37, where the damn Panthers are 2-0 at home. They're world beaters at home. They can score points at home. They go
Yeah.
on the road now. They can't score a damn point. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh my goodness. My man Anthony, how you doing, buddy? Man, your Commanders have proven to me that when Jaden Daniels is on the field, anything is possible.
Got that
All
right.
the pundits got that game wrong. The only people that thought Washington had a snowball's chance in hell of winning were people in the DMV. Everybody else said, "Nah, he just coming back. He don't have scary Terry. What was his offense really going to look like? They got a couple injuries and stuff like that. They're having to travel cross country." And all Jaden Daniels said was, "Hold my beer." And he
Yeah.
just went out there and did his thing.
And I think the Chargers jumped up 10-0 on that game.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wow, well, this one's over already. And then all of a
But it
sudden,
was
I look at the
almost like,
score, and I'm
okay.
like, damn.
But I was like, Brand, I was like, okay, well, this is going how I expected.
Yep.
He's just getting back. I wasn't, going to fault him if they sat there and wet the bed, because it was like, well, they almost should. I mean, I expected the Chargers, the way the Chargers have been playing and everything, just beat the brakes off them. The Chargers scored 10 points, and that was it.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
done.
The
Get back
Commanders
to
went
that.
27-0 after that,
Yeah.
and won that way. So Jaden Daniels is just absolutely everything is advertised. 15 to 26, 231 yards. He passed for a touchdown. Debo came up strong in place of Terry McLaurin. Thank you, because he's on my fantasy league, so I appreciate that, Debo. And then the rookie Croskett Merritt did his thing on the ground, 14 carries, 111 with 2 touchdowns. So
Ooh, yeah. Ripping.
Boy, just straight ripping.
Ringo size holes.
Yeah, Anthony, I'll get to your question, because Anthony says, and we'll talk about this AFC North, because this is crazy stupid when I read this. He says the Ravens seem like they can't win without Lamar. You think? What gave you that idea?
So, remember these discussions that we've had in the past about, Lamar being MVP? Now, granted, he goes sideways in the playoffs, but as far as him being an MVP, I think there's no greater evidence than what we're seeing right now. The dude is an MVP, because without him, Baltimore is absolute trash.
Absolutely. Jermaine, what's up, Jermaine? What's up, bro? He says 2 things, and I agree with a caveat on the second one, Jermaine. He says gets a lot easier to throw when your running back is ripping off huge runs. It does, because now you have to either start loading extra defenders in the box to stop him, which means you're not doubling receivers. So now if you've got a Ted McMillan that is one of those 50-50 receivers that can catch balls across the middle. He doesn't have blazing speed, but he runs precise routes, and he's big. So put it in his direction, and he's going to come down with it a lot of times when he's not being doubled, because now you have to commit to the run. It does free up your receivers to do that, where they have to now account for that runner. So they've got to commit. Somebody's got to drop down and help with the run stop and things like that. The second thing Jermaine said, though, is that first touchdown by Bryce was nice, though. Jermaine, if you notice, though, in the last couple of games, the very first drive is their strongest. And Bryce will get a touchdown off of that. Why? The reason is, and Rand, you brought this up a little bit last week, because you used this word, and I'm going to use it because this is any team in the NFL. It was part of the script. Every team has 10 to 12 plays at least that they go into a game plan scripting. What really shows you, though, whether a team is able to adapt and coaches are able to adapt, is once you go through those initial scripted plays, how do you adapt to what the defense is doing? How do you adapt to what the other team is doing as a whole? Well, a lot of times that comes from, you always talk about when they go in for halftime, do they make those halftime adjustments and things like that? Well, maybe you do have a couple of scripted plays when you come out of halftime. But then during the course of the game, when you're now into the second and the third series, now you don't have scripted plays. Now does everybody know where they're supposed to be? Or do you have people that's doing illegal shifts? Do you have people that's off sides? Do you have people that's lining up in the neutral zone? Do you have people not understanding that it's a run, and now you got or a pass or I'm sorry, a run, and you got ineligible receivers down the field because they crossed the line of scrimmage. All those kind of things start creeping up after your scripted plays. They were well past their first drive. Were they on that one that he threw it? Okay, maybe you're right. They were already down 7. Yeah, at that point too. Well, maybe they did go into that bag though. But I've noticed on their first couple of drives, they actually look pretty good. It's just after that where it starts to get a little suspect.
Yeah, and that pass, that was kind of at my point, getting at my point what I made earlier. I mean, yeah, it was a good pass to me. It's what is needed from I guess it's the expectation from an NFL quarterback to
Yeah.
throw the ball before the guy is open and when the defender has not even got his head back around. That's what Bryce should be doing a lot more often, you know. So to me, I don't quote unquote call that a dime in my bag. A dime is when you pass something right between defenders and it gets to the wide receiver. That's dropping a dime. Or you throw a deep shot and it drops right
Right
down
in
in
that
the
basket.
doggone,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
in the basket. That Russell Westbrook, not Westbrook, Russell Wilson type
Wilson
deal.
when he get with
Yeah,
when he would go Lockett and Metcalf, and
yeah,
they would be running full steam and didn't have to slow down one time
just dropped right
to
in the
catch that
basket.
ball. They just catch it in stride, and you're just like, wow, now that's a dime.
That's a dime to
Long
me.
ball, but it's a dime.
Yeah. What Bryce threw to me is what he should be throwing. That's what you throw in the daggone red zone.
and,
So
and I guess too, Jermaine, the thing is that with a player that has supposedly supposed to be this transformative player, we want to see more consistency with that. Um, I don't want to see flashes in year 3. I want to start to see
no,
things start to string together. Flashes in year 1 and year 2. Now, if he didn't start in year 1 and we were talking about year 3, then yes, but he started. Did he get benched? Yeah. But he didn't get benched till the second season, the first couple of games, till he had Andy Dalton hurt in a car accident. Um, but I still say he did that. But he pulled a Tanya Hardin on him. But
yeah,
um, I want to be able to see. I don't want to point out to one pass. I want to be able to say, hey, there were a handful of plays that he determined. Now, Coach Jermaine says flashes is all we got. I know, and we need, we expect, we deserve more than that for what we gave up as a franchise to be able to get him. He says, smile for the camera. But yeah, we got to get more than that because when you basically gave up a lot to get him, too much is given, much is required, and we are requiring a lot because we gave up a lot for him, and we need to be able to see that actually start bearing out on the field, not somebody selling us promises of what he can be. I
yeah,
still think his ceiling is limited, Rand. He still has every opportunity to prove me wrong. If he does prove me wrong, I'll be the first one to come back and say, you know what? I said he was a bust. Now, I might still say he is a bust, but he may be serviceable. Um, I don't think
that's
I'll
still a
ever go
bust.
back instead of saying he's not a bust. I may just say he's a journeyman. When you look at somebody like Sam Darnold, is Sam Darnold a bust? Yes,
Sure is.
absolutely. Is Baker Mayfield a bust? Yep. But is he making the best use of where he is right now? Absolutely. But as a person that was drafted overall in the first round and everything, is he a bust to that standard? Yes. Why? Because you could have gotten that out of a third rounder. Hell, Dak was a fifth rounder. You know,
Yeah.
so that's what when you're a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, and there's 240 something other players that come behind you, yet you told me that this dude is the dude that's going to sit there and transform this very bad franchise. I got now. Look, I ain't expecting him to come in year 3 and they win the division. They're going to the Super Bowl or anything like that. I'm more realistic than that. I'm looking at his own individual play. And for the longest, for the first 2 years, all I kept hearing is people talk about what he ain't got around him. I
You
want to hear
won't
that.
hear that much more.
I want to hear that no more.
Yeah.
No,
To me, I
I don't hear
mean,
that.
yeah, I'm not expecting no Super Bowl trip. But for us giving up our number one wide receiver and draft picks, you got to get in the playoffs and win some playoff games. I
Mhm.
mean, shoot, oh boy, Sunshine down in Jacksonville, he's at least got one playoff
Yeah,
win up
yeah.
under his belt, and they're calling him a bust. So
Oh, he is. And, but
yeah,
and Rand, I agree with you about even the playoffs because here's the thing, y'all. When you sign a rookie quarterback, every team now has acknowledged this is when you strike the iron while it's hot because you've got this QB on a very friendly rookie deal. What does that mean? As a franchise, you need to be committed to making sure that you build a lot of pieces around him that you can go out and shop. You got more money for your groceries when your main ingredient don't sit there and break the bank. So if your main ingredient is on the cheap, now you can sit there and add a whole lot more things around it to make the meal even better. So he's on a very friendly rookie deal. Um, so now you can afford to get those tackles, those linemen, those tight ends, those skill position folks around him, because when it's time for him to re-up, they're going to extend him in his fourth year. This off season is really when you start talking about an extension.
man,
So you need to
I'm
be
like,
able to see more than a flash of a pass now and then to know if you're going to get this man an extension.
from what I see right now,
Would you
if they
accept?
give this dude an extension, I might be out. I might be out. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't
Rand,
watch this brand of
You're
football
right
no more.
because can you believe because where the current salaries are, and he may not reset the market. There's no way he can do that, but you would still have to pay him north of $45 million.
The Panthers will be absolute
You would
idiots if they
you
do
would
that.
have to at least give him 150 to 160 million guaranteed.
And here's the thing, it's like I don't think that they will, but at the same time, it's like they're so hell bent on not admitting they made a mistake with this dude that they just might.
They might. Jermaine brings up a point. Um, and the answer to your question is yes. Based on Baker and Darnold, isn't it possible that it's just the Panthers are a trash organization? Yeah,
Two things can be true. I mean, true.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Well, yes, because if you think about it, what happened when we had Baker and Sam? Tepper was being way too involved in the organization's day to day, even with Bryce. The reason Bryce is here to begin with, and not CJ Stroud, is because Tepper was putting his thumb on the scale. From what I understand, most people wanted CJ. Tepper wanted Bryce.
Hmm.
That's why we have Bryce. When you're saying is the organization trash, yes, when you have a meddlesome owner, um, a lot of things get done that may not be in the best interest of the team.
Yeah.
Tepper has made a whole lot of money, and I know that he has realized over this time period that the reason that he's been able to make as much money as he has is because he surrounded himself with very, very smart people. But I think when he took over the Panthers, even though he had some of those people, he still put too much of his own thumb on the scale.
Big time for a guy that has no football. I mean, he didn't play. He never coached.
Mm-mm.
He was part owner of the Steelers. I give him that, but he just automatically comes in. Oh, the Steelers were successful for years with the 3-4. You guys go out and run a 3-4. It's not that easy, man. It's
No,
not that easy. And for him to come in and just demand something like that without any football knowledge is a little crazy.
yeah.
But
I
Jermaine,
mean,
I do.
this is the same guy that brought Matt Rule in, gave him all of this money. Then he brought
Right.
in a quarterback whisperer, Frank Reich. I mean, I just think that, and you got to understand,
Yeah, the coach turnover does not help at all.
Baker had to go through 4 teams to be able to land in Tampa with a coach. Now, who was his coach at one point? Canales.
Canales, yeah.
Who was the head coach? Who's the head coach? Todd Bowles. They found a plan for Baker that works good for Baker because Baker is challenged too with his height, but Baker is a lot more athletic than Bryce
Yeah.
Young.
And yeah, Jermaine, I also had that same thought when I was looking at the the shootout that was happening yesterday between Tampa Bay and Seattle.
Oh my God.
38-35.
Oh my God.
Baker versus Sam Darnold. And
Darnold,
Carolina had both of them.
did
Yeah,
you
I had the
see
same thought.
that was insane.
Yeah, they were dueling, man. They were dueling.
I mean, dueling. This game was just freaking nuts. That's why even after that game, I was like, I have no idea anymore. I just don't know. I can't tell you. I just want to at least highlight what Sam and Baker did since you brought that up.
Yeah.
Baker, 29 of 33. He missed 4 throws.
Former
Threw for 379, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
without Mike Evans on the field.
Without Evans.
And that's a former Carolina Panther quarterback.
Because Abuka is just blowing his mind right now.
As I
This brother
predicted.
had 7 receptions, 7 catches, 163 yards.
Yeah. Kid's the future. After Mike Evans, there will be Abuka. No doubt about it.
Oh, hands down. The future is secure in Tampa when it comes to the receiver.
Already.
But Sam Darnold, the guy that saw Ghost in New York, not bad him damn self. 28 of 34.
Missed 6 passes.
341, 4 touchdowns in that one off of his back foot pick at the end. But look, they wouldn't even been in the game had he not been that accurate and that good for most of that game. That is from Sam Darnold, who everybody thought he was done.
So you watch that whole game. The whole game now, and less than 10 passes hit the ground.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Absolutely. So I agree with you, Jermaine, because Jermaine said, the last 10 years have been awful, not bad, but awful. I think Bryce will be successful when he eventually moves on to another team.
I don't see it, brother. I mean, you're welcome to that opinion, but I don't see it, bro.
If he is, it's really going to be because somebody can get him to reinvent himself. I just think that's hard to do because I think a lot of times a lot of things are already baked in. I'm not saying it's impossible because I thought Baker was done. I thought, I knew Johnny Manziel wasn't going to make it. Everybody kept talking about Johnny football. I didn't think RG3 had a long career because of the way he played. And all of these are small quarterbacks.
The thing with Baker though, he's actually a little bigger than Bryce, taller than Bryce,
and more athletic,
a little heavier, thicker. He actually lifts weights, and Baker has it here. He's headstrong mentally, big time, way more than Bryce Young is. Baker Mayfield ain't gonna fumble from looking at a defensive end coming at him.
Shoulder too, though. He plays with that big chip.
He plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he's not going to fumble from a pass rush. So,
yeah, Jermaine says we all thought Baker and Sam were washed too. We did.
Yeah, we did.
And I will give them credit. I think Sam, in particular, finally benefited when he went to the Rams. Was it the Rams he went to, or to
the Vikings?
No, I mean before that, he was with the Rams as a backup to Stafford, or he was a backup for Purdy. I think he was with the 49ers. He went to the 49ers.
Yes, Niners, yeah.
Niners. So being out there with Shanahan and really, really soaking all of that up, I don't really give that a lot of credit sometimes, just like when Trubisky went to Buffalo and then he went to Pittsburgh and you couldn't tell he learned the damn thing from Brady up in Buffalo and McDermott.
He didn't.
But I really think when Darnold went to San Francisco, Shanahan rubbed off on him. So when he got his chance at Minnesota, and remember when he went to Minnesota, he was still going to Minnesota to be a backup.
Yeah.
And had J.J. McCarthy not got hurt, the story of Sam Darnold being in Seattle probably wouldn't be told right now. So I give Sam credit because he took full advantage of an opportunity that wasn't even presenting itself at the time, bet on himself, and it paid off.
Well, Jermaine, I mean, you brought up a good point, too, when you were talking about the Panthers and the trash organization, because in my eyes, they made a mistake when they gave up on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was getting better
He was.
His last year with the Panthers.
Hmm.
He was basically in a shootout against Tampa Bay in which he almost won that daggone game, and
Yep.
that game would have put us in the playoffs.
Yeah, I
He
didn't
was
agree with that.
playing just that well.
I didn't agree with when they let Darnold
Yeah,
go.
I didn't agree with that either. I didn't agree with that either. They gave up for him, to bring in Baker Mayfield, and by that time, of course, you got hurt feelings, and Darnold no longer wants to be here. But
Yeah,
they had themselves a good young quarterback who was getting better and better. Now, was he as elite as he is now? No. But who's to say he wouldn't have gotten to that point if we drafted better wide receivers and gave him the weapons that he has now in Minnesota and Seattle? But we did a complete about face. We gave up on Wilkes
yep.
to bring in somebody else, and we gave up on Darnold to bring in Baker.
I got even a better one for you that they totally washed. I called for them to do this early because it was apparent they were not going to extend Brian Burns. And instead of just holding on to him long and long and long to eventually end up getting a 6th-round pick for him, there were teams at a certain point offering 3 number 1s for him.
The Rams offered 3 number 1s for Brian Burns before we just got a 6th-round pick for him. And that is complete organizational misconduct. So back to your point, yes, trash organization, because that is a terrible, terrible decision. If anybody wants to give you 3 first-rounders for your best defensive end, you make that call and you don't think about it, because you could draft another defensive end. You could draft 2 more defensive ends with them free draft picks that you just got.
Or you can take that draft equity and you can break it up. Maybe you don't want 3 first-rounders. Now maybe you can get 2 second-rounders high up in the 30s and the 40s. A lot of great defensive ends are still around then. So you could have done a whole lot more with just getting those 3 first-rounders and then being able to use that draft capital to be able to do a lot of things, but they just weren't managing it right. My point is that it's hard to evaluate talent on this team because the organization is trash. I agree. I'll hold my opinion on Bryce until I see him on a good team. That's fair. I mean, I get what you're saying. I just don't, and you might be right, Jermaine. I just don't like short quarterbacks because unless that short quarterback comes in with the elusiveness of Kyler Murray, with the grit of Baker Mayfield, with the way of extending plays like a young Russell Wilson used to do, it's hard. It's not impossible. I saw Drew Brees throw off of his tiptoes to make passes. I've seen Doug Flutie throw jump passes. But it can be done. But
it can be done. But every one of those guys that you just mentioned, except for maybe Murray, is a leader of men. And they got a strong mind in order to lead men. Bryce ain't got it, man. Bryce doesn't have that. He's too timid, too shy in the pocket, too weak-minded. He's about to cry when he throws picks. He's going to require the best of the best in order to make it.
I want to see him get hit and get so mad he get up and say, "All right, I got you."
Yeah. Still looking for that. Still looking for that quote unquote eye of a tiger from him.
I didn't know you're a dog, man.
Yeah, he ain't a dog.
Because when he's a dog, then everybody else around him gonna be like, well, wait a minute. If he and I think that's what Baker commands too.
Yeah, that's his whole game.
If they see that out of their quarterback, how they gonna come to the huddle act like a bunch of little bitches? You see what I'm saying? Like you got this quarterback that's sitting there taking every shot personally and this and that and the other and gonna run through a wall without his helmet on. How you gonna come to the huddle with less?
His final year in Cleveland, he played basically half the season with a bad left shoulder.
Oh, he did. Yeah, it was hanging off. Damn.
Yeah, kept on going back out there. Yeah. You're gonna get the respect of your teammates when you do stuff like that.
Amen. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. So I hear Jermaine, and I'm not. Could he possibly be serviceable on another team? Maybe. But tell me, what is it more that the Panthers can provide him with now that he didn't have before that he could get on another team? What does he does he have to have A1 players all the way across the line?
Yes, he has to
Uh,
have it at Alabama, Brian.
does he have,
Yes.
yeah, does he have to have? Because if he has to have that perfect of a situation, he should not have been drafted #1 overall.
Let's break
Or-
down Carolina right now. Carolina has 2 starting wide receivers who were both drafted in the first round, Leggett and Ted, both first-round talents, wide receiver. He
Yep,
got Renfro in the slot.
yep.
Renfro, I forgot where he was picked at or drafted at, but Renfro is an all-pro, former daggone Pro Bowl player.
Mhm.
The Panthers have a top 12 offensive line last time I checked, and they got 2 running backs right now who are in the top 10 for yardage,
And two,
Rico
two,
and
and two top tight ends. I mean, I like the tight ends.
yeah, I like their tight ends as well. But
Mhm.
I just made that point because Bryce right now is surrounded by talent.
Yeah,
He is. But where's the play to
right. And
to
now,
accompany that?
so now the personnel is there. Is it the player or is it the play caller?
They got
Right.
Dave Canales, the quote unquote quarterback whisperer.
Who's the
So he's
who's the,
got
who's the OC?
help
I
all
don't
around.
know much about the OC. I know about the DC, but
Yeah.
then at that point, is it a quarterback coordinator with the quarterback? Is it a quarterback? What is it at that point? Jermaine says it's hard to give your all to this team. I wouldn't lay it all out for Tepper, especially when there's a chance he'll trade me to a better team.
That's
Well,
just football, bro.
I was going to say, though, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, but I think as a player, there's a sense of pride that you have as a player. I understand what you're saying, Jermaine, but I still think at the end of the day, if you are wanting to increase your capital and your stock for another team, you need to put good tape on.
That's exactly
You
right.
need to be able
It
to
doesn't
say,
matter who
"And
the
that
owner is.
owner, I'm playing for my next contract. You're in year 3 as a
Yep.
first round pick. You should be having off-season contract negotiations about an extension after year 3. If the Panthers say, "Well, Bryce, we gonna go into year 4 without extending you," oh, y'all gonna then try to make me play out my contract now. And then you got to remember, they gave him all his $39 million guaranteed. So there ain't no more money.
Yeah.
He got it. So how motivated are you going to be then? You
Yeah.
know, because you want to go ahead and get that second extension because you're looking for the guaranteed money. It don't matter what the contract is. It all comes down to the guaranteed. Once you've gotten your guaranteed, they can cut you anytime, and now they don't have as much dead money on the salary cap and everything else, and you don't have anything. They're looking for that second contract. That first rookie deal ain't nothing. When you're a first round pick, you get to pick up year 4. I mean, you get to start that extension after your 3rd year. And that's what he wants to do. So, what's his motivation, bro? You need to string that pass that you said was so good. He need to start stringing along a whole bunch more of those, so he can put on good film in the event that the Panthers don't want to sit there and retain his services. He's put on enough good film for somebody else to go, you know what? I think I can do something with that. Kind of like when the Eagles decided to move on to Carson Wentz, and there were other teams out there that kept going, you know what? I think I can do something with that.
Yeah.
So he needs to be able to put on good film. Jermaine said that's why those flashes are important. Shows his next team that he can make those passes. He can blame the rest on the team. That's true, but he needs to do them more often and
He needs to
consistently.
do it with consistency.
When you're sitting there showing a flash of a good pass, but then you showing me that you'll fumble the ball every time you hear footsteps, I don't know if that's a good trade-off.
That's not the stuff that's gonna get you paid.
Because if we come out with a good game plan, but I can't trust the quarterback to not throw the ball away to the other team, then what good is it that you can throw a touchdown pass when you can't secure the ball?
Yep. Any player that says I'm not going to go all out for this organization is also saying I'm not going to maximize my money in the NFL.
Bingo.
That's just point blank period.
And your careers are short to begin with,
That's
so
exactly right.
you have to. It's all about maximizing. I mean, the same thing could be said on somebody that plays for the Raiders, somebody that plays for Jacksonville. These teams that have just been terrible for so long. What's the motivation for somebody that plays for the Titans when you know that you're going to lose by 30? They still have to go out and they're going to perform. Why? Because they know that they're trying to put good tape on. Because now when their agent is trying to shop their services around, they can say, hey, even though this team stunk, watch
Look
this.
at this tape.
Watch him. Watch how he sits there and gets through. Watch how
Yeah.
he sits there and covers this wide receiver. Look how he was on Jamar Chase. Look how he was on CD Lamb.
Yep.
Even if the team is bad.
Pro Football Focus has him ranked as the number 31 cornerback in this league. He's in line for some money.
So I get what you're saying in that kind of realm, Jermaine, but in the bigger realm of everything, as a football player, hey, just because you're on one team, there's 31 other teams out there that may be able to use your services. So I've seen a lot of great players come from bad teams to then better situations and do a lot of things. That reminds me of Khalil Mack when he left Chicago.
Oh yeah.
You see something like that, you're like, oh my God. When Jalen Ramsey had gotten traded the first time when he was with the Rams, stuff like that. So yeah, I see that kind of stuff all the time, where the reason that they were able to capitalize on getting paid wasn't because of their team success. It was because of the effort that they put on that bad team.
Yeah. I mean, I could go all the way back. Rodney Harrison, first couple of seasons with the San Diego Chargers, bad Charger teams. But, the Patriots saw his tape and said, come your ass on to New England.
Yeah, and the rest was history.
The rest is history. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Charles Woodson.
Yeah. Bad Raider team.
But nobody would deny he was a Hall of Famer, would they?
Nope. Come on to Green Bay and show us what you got.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So there's a whole lot of those, and those are just ones off the dome. But I totally get the point on that. Brand, what game out there this weekend outside of Seattle and Tampa, outside of what was that other crazy game? Oh, well, we could talk about the game last night too. But just
that one right there.
Oh my God, that just blew you away. The Patriots and the Bills blew me away.
Yes.
Because it was just, again, this was another Washington Chargers kind of situation where it was just going to be a foregone conclusion that it wasn't if the Bills were going to win, it was just going to be by how much.
Yeah, you thought that, but Drake May
I don't know anything anymore.
I was so impressed by Drake last night. And I know he didn't have a touchdown pass, but he extended plays. He rolled out to the pocket and passed right before he was about to go out of bounds, and picked up huge chunks with pinpoint passes. Yo, man, kid's the future.
Man, the poise he showed in one of those games like that where, they were getting some sacks on you, they were getting some pressure on you, and the way he just hung in there and kept going, 22 of 30, 273. Yeah, no touchdowns, but no picks. I mean, the way they just sat there and they said, hey, the lights aren't too big for us. This is Sunday night football. It's the only game on. Everybody's watching us. Everybody expects us to lose because the Bills have been crowned. The Bills have been crowned and everything. And I think, in the words of Denny Green, Drake May said, "You want to crown them? Crown their ass."
Yeah.
Oh, we took the field. And that's what they did.
Buffalo primetime, so what? Let's go.
Another Oh My Beer moment. Jermaine said,
let's go.
Back on the Bryce thing. I hear y'all. I'm not a Bryce fan, but watching Baker and Sam, I just can't dismiss him completely. You guys make excellent points. Thanks, Jermaine. And lastly, I'll say on that too, Jermaine, is that sometimes every system ain't for everybody. Some people do work in better systems that do allow, and you gotta, and this is the problem I have with coaches a lot of times, always trying to make players into their system instead of leaning into what made that player great from where it was they came from. And the whole Ashton Genty thing comes to mind when Chip Kelly wanted to change his whole stance with how he got the ball pre-snap when in college his his Halloween stance, as they called it, worked for him. And when he actually went back to doing that last week, he went on a tear. And that's what you got to be able to see is you got to figure out how what you do well as a coach and what this player does well as a player, how you can marry those two things together. Not try to strip the I'm gonna buy me a Ferrari though, but then I'm gonna sit there and tear it apart and then start putting a Prius motor in it. I'm gonna start using this part and that part and stuff like that. That don't make no sense. You got him because he was a Ferrari. Why are you sitting there now trying to put in all these other crazy parts into it? Now, if you want to sit there and add some spoilers to it, soup him up a little bit, lower him a little bit, all that, that's cool. But you don't just take internally what made him him and say, okay, you're gonna catch the ball out the backfield this way. You're gonna go in motion out the backfield, and now you're getting stuffed 2, 3, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and now you got all these negative yards.
Yeah, it's hard to make a wolf a lapdog.
Yeah, that's just crazy. So a lot of these coaches just want to be able to put their own fingerprint on something so bad that they go in and they tank something, they ruin a player and things like that. So that's what happens when you see that. So I think Baker and Sam have walked into situations where the coaches realized, hey, we need to figure out what they really like as players and put them in those situations and run plays that really fit their style of play. Every system is not going to fit Baker and Sam's style of play, but they've been able to find teams that did that. And I do fault the Panthers for not being able to be more cognizant of that and working towards that. They just said, no, you're going to come in, you're going to run these plays, learn the playbook, you're going to run these plays, whether that was leaning into that quarterback strength or not. And it made no sense. My man Andy Hahn, what's going on, Andy from the NYC? Woodson, the Packers tore up my Vikings. Yes, they did. And well, they tore up a lot of people, but yeah, Woodson was no joke. Absolutely.
What part of NYC, brother?
They are in Manhattan.
Nice.
If I remember, Upper West Side, Andy, or no, not Upper West, just West, right? I'm trying to remember. I've been to this place. It's been a while now, but I believe it was West Side.
The only time I was in New York, I stayed on the Lower East Side, Manhattan.
Yeah, that's right, Upper West Side. Okay. Yeah, yeah, because it was past Central Park. Yep, absolutely, that's right. See, I remember, bro. It's been forever, but yeah, the Upper West Side got a nice little rooftop up there. So
very
nice little view. Loved it. With that big fat cat of yours, I remember that cat. But anyway, but yeah. So the Bills, I think, got shocked. So with them losing, they were the last team that was undefeated at that point that lost. Stephon Diggs had some had a good outing against his former team. 10 catches for $146. I'm sure he was motivated. Leela, yeah, the cat. Nice, that's so funny. Leela and Samantha. Yep, that nice little family there. But yeah, Stephon definitely had a nice coming out against the Bills. So that I know that was good for him. You know, Josh Allen still did some good things too, but I just think that both defenses at the end of the day were just hell bent on making it hard for the quarterbacks or to really move the ball. They didn't rush very well. Henderson had 24 yards. Josh Allen was their leading rusher with 53 yards. So not a lot to be had on the ground, just simply because those defenses were being very, very stingy when it came to the running game.
Definitely that, man. But I was just really, really impressed by what I saw out of the young kid, especially in a primetime moment. The lights was not too big for him at all.
At all.
To go into Buffalo and pull that off, Yo, the future's very bright.
I'm
We'll see
telling you,
what they're going to do for the rest of the season, but wow, man.
when you can sit there and stand up to the Bills Mafia, man, you're doing something. So all the props to him on that. Rand, I'm sitting here looking at the standings. Again, this is 5 weeks in. We do have some teams on bye this week. Your Steelers, the Falcons, somebody else is on bye too. Two other teams, I believe. But anyway, so we got some teams on bye, but most teams now, counting tonight, will have played their fifth game, except for those two. And you currently have in the AFC North, the Steelers 2 games up on the Bengals. The Steelers at 3-1, the Bengals are at 2-3. But the craziest thing, if I would have told you through the first 5 games of the year that the Ravens would be tied for last with the Brownies, you would have said
Go get your head checked.
Now, a lot of people will say, like Anthony said earlier, they can't win without Lamar. But you got to remember, they lost some games with Lamar too. I mean, they're 1-4, so that means they did lose 3 games with him.
Yep.
And but Rand, I saw the same things rearing his ugly head when they just played. And it's the defense. It ain't so much the offense.
No, the defense is atrocious right now.
Defense, and some of the defense was just lack of physicality, bad tackling, bad angles, can't stop a nosebleed. Oh man, I'm looking at it like, this is the Ravens defense?
Exactly. That's what's so alarming about it. It's Baltimore, man. It's like Baltimore's always known for
they ain't known for nothing. Is that defense?
Yeah.
And they're just not showing up. I mean, there's times when the offense would wet the bed, but you knew that defense was going to come in there, get a sudden change, turnover, something like that, to be able to prop that offense up, and they would play that somewhat complementary style of football that way. But now what's happening is you're not getting any complementary football because the Ravens defense is just terrible. And before anybody says, well, Brian, could it just be that the Ravens are I lost my train of thought, that the Ravens offense is so bad that it's putting the defense out there longer and they're just simply getting tired. Yeah, that does play into things a lot of times. But honestly, even when I've seen the Ravens offense clicking, the defense has not supported them at all. Meaning that basically the only way for the Ravens to win is to then get in a shootout with teams and try to outscore them. And you can only do that but so many times, or keep expecting your offense to just catapult you into just winning like that. That's not going to keep happening.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a lot of trouble right now, sitting 1-4. Next up is the Rams. Don't get no easier, so
Nope.
I'm loving it.
As you should. And when we look at some of the other standings, when you look at which we knew this in the AFC East, we knew the Bills would be up, but the Patriots are 1 game behind them. So that's going to be interesting. The one that I found really interesting is the AFC West. If the Chiefs win tonight against the Jaguars, there will be a 3-way tie for first place with the Chargers and the Broncos. All of them will be at 3-2. We knew this was going to be a tough division even before the season started. But again, if I had said 5 games in, these 3 teams would be tied for first, you would have said.
Yeah. I just had a lot of people that thought the Chiefs were going to be, just over and out after their 0-2 start. And, I was just not one of those folks, man.
No.
It's like anytime you got Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out.
And you got to remember, once they get everybody back and healthy and they got a full arsenal of players and they're still not just so heavily depending on Kelsey, even though Kelsey can show you flashes, but now you start getting Worthy Rasheed Rice, Hollywood Brown. They even got another receiver now that's really starting to come out. Now you got Juju acting right again.
Yeah.
And then you sprinkle that in with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. and then you got that defense. You start getting all that clicking together. Hey.
They're going to be all right come December.
Yeah. Until otherwise, they're going to have to prove to me that they're really done. And last year's Super Bowl didn't quite do that. I just figured that, there was one team that was a lot more hungry last time than the other one, and it showed. But I would not count the Chiefs out. What they always say about the reports of their demise has been heavily exaggerated.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. Now we look at the AFC South, and you've got the Colts at 4-1, leading the division, followed by them damn Sunshine Jaguars at 3-1. And now the Jags lose. Even if the Jags lose tonight, they're still going to be in second place because the Texans dug themselves a little bit of a hole, even though they won quite impressively yesterday, which didn't see that coming either. But they won yesterday, but they're still in third place. So that's what's going on in the AFC, Rand. And then, of course, even though the Eagles took their first L, which I wasn't surprised, just because this is a hot, cold team that, again, when you winning, it kind of covers a lot of things. But when you finally lose, and I'm glad, people, somebody hit me up and said, "Hey, sorry about your Eagles," and I was like, "Wow, they can't win every game." They didn't win every game when they won the Super Bowl. And I would rather them lose early and figure it out than to lose late and it costs them even more. You can afford to lose a game this early and still be okay, as long as you look yourself in the mirror and figure this out. They did change their formula yesterday because they started trying to throw a little bit more to set up the run, because their running game has not been as effective as last year. But even with that said, Rand, you got the Commanders at 3-2. The Cow Bitches are at 2-1. This is where, now I heard a commentator the other day say how who was it that went for it? The Rams went for it and didn't get it. It was just a bad play. I would have went for it too. And they were like, "No, take the points and take the tie." No, and they said a tie is a half of a win. No, I still say a tie is a loss. Because Cow Bitches at 2-1 would be tied with the Commanders if that one was an actual 3. In the win column, they'd be tied for second, but they stayed now locked in at third, and the Giants can still end up taking over the Cow Bitches. So I still don't subscribe to a tie being a half of a win for that reason either. I know you got the 49ers. Oh, Rand, the 49ers are first in the NFC West.
I kind of thought they would have a resurgence this year. Even with the injuries, they're having a resurgence. So.
Well, that's why I didn't think they would.
Yeah.
I mean, they're winning games with Pearsall out. They're winning games with Kittle out. They're winning games with Ayuk out. I mean, damn, they got a wounded list. Purdy's out. And talking about another quarterback that had to go into another situation, and it just so happens to be, where that was Darnold before he went to Minnesota? San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Can we please just say Kyle Shanahan knows what to do with a damn quarterback?
Man,
because it don't matter if it's Jimmy G, it don't matter if it's Brock Purdy, it don't matter. It don't matter who the quarterback is.
They can maximize that quarterback.
I mean, Mac Jones
over and over and over again shown the ability to maximize the quarterback.
Did you see what he was doing?
Mac Jones is making himself, and this gets back to my point a little earlier. Mac Jones is making himself some money right now.
Yep. He putting on some good ass tape right now. He's making it harder to come back to San Francisco.
Oh, he won't be back. Not next year.
Because they're going to be like, we ain't going to be able to afford you as a number 2. That's why he couldn't stay in Minnesota, because they weren't going to pay that for a backup.
No. Mac Jones, come on to Pittsburgh, brother. We'll be waiting on you.
Mac Jones is. I mean, people going, well, wait a minute. New England. So Jermaine, you could say the same thing. Did New England give up on Mac Jones too soon?
Well, this is a little deeper subject. What the hell is going on with Belichick? His talent evaluation is falling through the cracks, and we're seeing this big time right now in UNC.
He need to go.
He need to go, man.
He need to go.
The game has passed him by. Again, talent evaluation is no longer there. And on top of all of that, I don't even think he cares, man.
I'm sitting there considering starting a GoFundMe page to buy out his damn contract.
Yeah.
He need to go.
He's just soaking up money right now.
I got $5. Anybody else got $5? We can get together, get all the Carolina fans out there. We can raise that money, or at least come up with half of it. The university come up with the other half, and we can just tell him and his little 24-year-old freak to get the hell up out of Chapel Hill.
Please.
Y'all need to go.
Yes.
I can't. They're unwatchable. I can't watch them.
I don't watch them. This is your $20 million NIL investment. This is what I'm seeing.
Clemson lost to Syracuse. And we look like that.
I don't foresee 5 wins this year, man.
5. Nah, bro. It's over. It's over. If I ever go to Kenan Stadium this year, it will not be without a paper bag. Hell no. I ain't even going. It ain't happening. No, Belichick has, again, every time Belichick does this, it solidifies the fact that it was the quarterback in the discussion.
You got that right.
every game that goes on. And maybe that's why these other teams in the NFL didn't pick up his old ass, because maybe they said, you know what? I think the game has passed him by. Is he going to be a Hall of Fame coach? Yes, because you can't take away what he has. But I think most people figure out that, hey, we're going to have to go in a different direction.
That question has been answered. Was it Brady? Was it Belichick? It was Tom Brady.
It was all Brady. I knew that once he went to Tampa and did it. Yeah. Especially because that was after Jameis's 30-30 season, where he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks.
You know how hard that is?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think I heard that's what inspired SZA's song, 30 for 30. Yeah, because he definitely was he threw as much to his own team as he threw to the other team. You can't make that up. Anyway, and you've got the the Seahawks are right there behind the 49ers. I think they're tied with the Rams, and then the midriff Cardinals are bringing up the bottom, as they should be on the bottom wearing midriffs. NFC North, of course, you got the Lions. After that week 1 loss that they endured, they've only just been blowing the backs out of every other team now. That combination that Jared Goff has with Gibbs and Montgomery, and then he's got Jameson out there. He's got Laporta out there. They just Amon-Ra St. Brown. They just man, that ain't even fair. It's almost like the greatest show on turf out there.
That's exactly right. The greatest show on turf. Yep.
Oh my God, they can put 40 up on anybody easily. And then you got the Packers behind them. They're on a bye this week. NFC North is stacked, Andy says. Andy, you are absolutely right. This is going to be just as crazy as the AFC West. I call the NFC North and the AFC West the 2 craziest divisions as far as just top to bottom. And the bottom one is the bottom, but those top 3, man, whichever one don't win the division, you're going to have another 1 or even 2 potentially being a wild card. So it's absolutely crazy. You're right. He is. He's starting to look more and more comfortable. I still think, though, with Caleb, I think he's got the right coach now, the right plan. They're going to have to work the plan. Is it going to translate into the playoffs this year? Probably not. But is he going to be able to build a good foundation? Absolutely. I don't think his offensive coordinator is going to end up going anywhere, so he's going to need that continuity. but I do like his trajectory. Now I think he's settling in, and we're starting to see some of those things that uh, was the reason that they drafted him #1 overall. So I give them a lot of credit for bringing some more stability into the organization and building around him. I wish another organization that I knew down the street from me would have done some stuff like that. Just saying.
Get rid of Bryce.
They're gonna have to get rid of him. Man, it was funny because when Brad was messing with me about Bryce Young and stuff like that, and he said, what did he actually say to me? It was kind of funny as hell. My response. He sat there and said, "Okay, I got your message." He said, "What the hell did he say to me?" He said, "Leave that kid alone and let him develop if he can." I said, "Yeah, he's developing into Employee of the Month of Chick-fil-A."
I mean, dang, man, how long did it take a dude to develop? I mean,
Damn, I can develop a picture faster than that if I washed it underwater.
you got a 4-year-old kid inside of a mom's pregnant belly right about now.
Right, that's going to develop before he does. And then lastly, in the NFC South, the biggest surprise that I see is that the Panthers are actually almost tied for second because the Falcons have a bye that keeps their winning percentage up. But if the Falcons actually end up losing, then they will be tied with the Panthers for second in the NFC South, which is also surprising. So that's what's going on with that. Rand, I know you got to get up out of here, and we're about to end the show. What games you are watching for this week coming up?
So definitely got my eyes on the Sunday night game between the Lions and the Chiefs. I think that'll be the game of the week. But I want to, before I get up out of here, Brian, help me.
Okay.
I want to be able to come on the show next week and say my Steelers beat the hell out the Browns. Because if I have to come on the show next week and talk about anything other than that, there's going to be a problem.
Once it ain't snowing, you got a chance.
Be a problem. Exactly. See where I'm going with this? See where I'm going with this? These are the games that Mike Tomlin loses. And these are the games that frustrate the absolute.
I knew you were going to say that too, because I'm like, okay, Jameis did you in last year. Now is Dylan Gabriel going to be in this year?
Man, look, bro.
And look, he almost could because you don't have enough tape on him. So you're going to have somebody spy him at least the first half of that game to really figure out what the game plan is with him. Don't let him just start feeling comfortable back there. Y'all got to make him uncomfortable. Make him step out of his spots. Make him throw on the run. Make him throw on his weaker side. Flush him out. Don't let him sit there and get comfortable and get confidence and then start turning them 3, 4, 5-yard passes into 18-yard gains and stuff like that. So that's my recommendation to them. When you got a young quarterback like that, keep him on his toes.
For all the props that Tomlin gets, these are the situations and games that he loses on a routine basis. So, yeah, I'm going to get out of here, but I do not want to come back onto the show next week pissed the F off. Please.
Hey, we all going to get up out of here. Y'all, I hope y'all have a great week. We're going to watch this game here, get into week number 6, and we will see y'all again next week. But y'all be good.